Hello and welcome back to Reclaim Within. I'm Ash, and today we're going to explore leaning into the mystery of life, the sacred practice of trusting or surrendering into the mystery. I myself have gotten a lot of practice with this lately, and I'm thinking that you might be getting a lot of practice with this too. I'm really witnessing this happen in the collective. My prayer is that this episode might bring you peace in whatever uncertainty that you might be sitting with right now, and remind you that the mystery itself is sacred, that not knowing is not actually something to fear, but something to lean into as a sacred gift. Life comes with so much complexity and beauty. It's such a mystery of how we all get to where we are in this very moment. From the moment each of us are born, we are thrust into a world filled with questions that have no simple answers. Why are we here? What is our purpose? Where do we go when we're not here anymore? What is it to live a fulfilling life? What is success? What is it to feel joy? Is it acceptable and okay to feel hurt and feel pain? The mystery itself, this vast unknown, can feel unsettling depending on how deeply you are in relationship with yourself and your inner feminine. What I'm witnessing happen in the collective is there's a lot of questioning of our identities on a very internal experience, but also it's trickling out. And the more someone feels comfortable with sitting into the mystery, the more it shifts them and shifts their identity. I was talking to some friends this morning. It's almost like there's this undertow, and the undertow is pulling us to where we're supposed to be, and everything in our life that is not aligning anymore or doesn't give us joy anymore, or maybe have had some trouble letting go of, it's just getting pulled out as we move along. And it might look like you're swimming in place, but there's really a current that's pulling you right now in this experience. Cosmically, there are so many movements happening over this next 3 or 4 months. And I think those of us that are more tuned in or maybe more sensitive to these shifts and changes might be feeling these subtleties not so subtly. And honestly, it could be all of us that feel this. I think it's just showing up differently for different people because we are all unique. The reason why I wanted to speak to leaning into the mystery is because I find this to be a very feminine experience. To lean into the unknown is actually a relationship with your own inner feminine. And I've been being initiated into this for the last couple years now, so it's very close to my heart. But we all carry both an inner feminine and inner masculine archetypically. These archetypal energies are shaped by our personal experiences, our cultural conditionings, and the inheritance of our ancestral lines. They influence how we move through the world, how we relate to others, and how we respond to uncertainty. The feminine within us is deeply connected to mystery. The archetype holds the unknown, the uncertain, a womb-like space where all creation begins, but so much mystery resides. So much unknown. This inner archetypal feminine is the fertile darkness, rich, untouched soil, holding infinite potential before anything has taken form. In the moment of complete uncertainty, of not knowing what is going to happen next, when it feels like it's all crumbling and you don't know which way to turn. In that moment, there is so much infinite potential. That's the moment where the most possibilities of what could occur resides. How comfortable can you be with that mystery? To allow yourself to lean into this mystery is to surrender, to let go of the need for quick resolutions or fixing it, or here's an idea, just do this. To allow life to unfold without trying to control it, to meet it moment by moment, to allow for the unraveling to take place, to allow for your identity and who you thought you were or what you thought your role was to actually be undone, while maintaining the faith that in that mystery, something is also being woven into the fabric of where you're moving towards. What we have lived in as a collective in our consciousness is a world that idolizes structure, certainty, and immediate answers. So a lot of us haven't been initiated or encouraged to just let it be and allow. That can trigger a lot of feelings of insecurity and uncertainty and unsafety. So, of course, the unknown or the mystery, we've been conditioned to understand it as feeling terrifying. We've been conditioned to seek control, to wrap our minds around every loose end so that we can feel safe and in charge. However, from my own lived experience, peace does not come from having all the answers. And as much as we can try or desire to know what's coming next, and as much as we can take aligned action, man, aligned action is beautiful. It gives us somewhere to put our energy. What is the next best thing I can do for the highest and best outcome for myself, the collective? As much as we can take that aligned action and take that next best step, there's still so much mystery and so much unknown of where that next step and that next step will lead us. Peace actually comes from learning to live comfortably in the not knowing, to allow for ourselves to be devoted to the mystery, to the unfolding. So let me ask you, do you feel comfortable with the mystery? For many of us, the idea of not knowing invokes anxiety, urgency, fear. The unknown threatens the structures that we've built to feel safe. And in a world where knowledge is seen as power, not having the answers or not knowing what's coming next can feel like weakness. And so we end up spending our lives searching and striving and controlling, running away from the mystery. There is another way. The mystery is not something for us to solve. The mystery of this life and what we're doing here and what the next step is, it's something to be danced with. Literally, when you feel like you're trying to control something or make something go or make it move or make it push, take a minute, put your favorite song on and just dance with it and ask yourself, what is the next right step? Not what's going to happen if and what if this and what if that. Don't even go there. Just pull it back and dance. To learn to trust the mystery, bow to the mystery, be softened by the mystery. Let life show you the next right step. When we allow for life to flow through us, we allow for our inner feminine to bring us to that next right step, not by forcing or controlling, but by leaning in to the unknown, by acknowledging it wow, I feel like I don't know what's going to come next, and acknowledge that scares me, or I feel frustrated, or I feel resentful, or I feel whatever it is that you're feeling, and allow for yourself to surrender into that feeling. This, in my experience, has built so much humility in the complexity of this unfolding mystery. When we remember that we are part of something larger than ourselves, something sacred that does not always need to be understood, but it does deserve to be honored. It changes the way that we orient to ourselves and others in the world. And this is something that is so simple in theory and so not easy. There are places in my life where I am really good at leaning into the mystery, but it is a unrelenting practice. I want clarity and I want certainty. I've learned it originally from a very distorted place of when I can control this and when I can know exactly what's happening next and when I can make this go the way I want, then somehow one day I will stumble upon clarity and certainty, which I think is a very common conditioning. I don't think that's just a me thing. And so to lean into the mystery and to witness it and be devoted to it and to say, I don't actually know what is going to happen next. I know that I'm longing for more peace or more certainty or more abundance or more love or more tenderness or more care or more forgiveness, whatever it may be. When I know that I don't feel like I'm getting what I want, and then I can be really devotional to leaning into, I don't know right now how I'm going to get all the way over to that place of how I want to feel. But I do know that from this place, I can trust myself to make the next right step, to trust the mystery, to trust the unfolding, to trust that there's something bigger that I'm connected to. And the answer is not always to trust the mystery. As with all things, sometimes we just need answers. Sometimes the only thing that's going to actually allow for us to stand in a deeper connection with ourselves and in peace is if we have some very real containment or structures put in place so that we can actually then fall back into that connecting to the mystery. But the reason I wanted to share all of this today is because I feel like there's a lot of mystery unfolding before all of our eyes. There's a lot of people getting challenged or tested in these really, really unique ways. I'm seeing it with all of my clients. And the patterns that want to play themselves out are the patterns of control and force and those pseudo safety mechanisms that maybe used to keep you safe when you were younger but aren't really working anymore. I wanted to speak to the mystery because it's how I've learned to weave in more courage into my life, is to consistently invoke my own relationship with the unknown or with the mystery of life and lean into it and dance with it and witness myself and witness, where am I being controlling right now? Where am I needing an answer right now to feel better? And how can I see those places as spaces where I'm attempting to cultivate a safety for myself that maybe isn't working? This life that we are all living right now is a web of relationships, and it takes on many, many forms. Some of our relationships in our lives are there to challenge us and to test us. Some are there to lift us up and help us move forward. Love in many forms is the guiding force of existence. And so when you're like really, really struggling with the mystery of it all, find where the love is. It's not that anything that we do is going to eliminate uncertainty. It's more about reclaiming the mystery and the uncertainty as a part of your devotional experience in this life. Because the more you actually devote yourself to acknowledging that the mystery does exist and that so many possibilities could unfold and that uncertainty is just part of life, there's a groundedness that comes in. Some of the most sacred moments I've experienced in my lifetime completely defy explanation. The awe of a sunset, the hush of a forest, the experience of a dog cuddled up on my lap, the quiet presence of someone just sitting next to me and holding my hand, the sound of someone I love humming or singing. It's those micro moments that you can feel the mystery and you can feel the fleetingness of the sacredness of life. And these truths weave through our day and our body and the soul, but we miss them if we do not allow for ourselves to become more comfortable in the mystery and in the presence of each and every moment. So I ask again, how comfortable can you be with the mystery? This isn't a destination. It is a practice. It is a devotional practice, one that asks you, begs you to sit in discomfort, to release the need to control what hasn't yet come into form, to tend to the emotional experience that you're having, especially in moments of suffering. When we want answers so badly, the mystery can feel cruel. But what if, even then, the mystery is actually working in our favor in ways that we cannot yet see? I believe that when we trust that life is not something that's happening to us, but life is something that's happening through us, that everything shifts. There's a beautiful poem that I read the other week, and I wish I would have remembered who it was by, but it said something like, God is not outside of us. God is what's experiencing itself through us. And that, it just brought tears to my eye. The unknown becomes so much less threatening and so much more alive when we allow for it to be an experience that's happening through us, and we take responsibility for being the co-creators of our lived experience. The mystery then becomes a sacred container for growth and a sacred space to keep feeling your next edge and your next edge and your next edge, a dark womb for transformation. Life begets more life, begets more life.